Hey everybody, how's it going? I hope you all had a good Thanksgiving. Mine was pretty good. I did something different this year and I didn't have turkey. I had bison, which was pretty good. So I'm going to talk to you today about something video game related, if you're into that stuff. I'm going to tell you about a retro game that I really like. I've done a couple of these where I recommend some older video games. And then at the end of this video, if you want to hear more about my channel, stick around and I'll tell you some like update stuff. So yeah, today I wanted to recommend this game called Casper for the PlayStation 1. Obviously, Casper the Friendly Ghost came out right around when the movie came out. 1991 was it? Or 1993? I don't really remember that old Casper movie. I kind of like that movie. It's not the greatest movie, but I always really kind of like that one. It's kind of I don't know if it's a cult classic movie, but I like it. So this is on the PlayStation, and I'll give you a little backstory as I like to do in these kind of videos. I was always a Nintendo guy growing up. I had the N64 and stuff like that. So that was mostly what I was playing. Then I got the GameCube and stuff like that. But my friend always had the PlayStation. He had the PS1, then he had the PS2. And so when I would go to his place, I would get to play the PlayStation games. That was always kind of a thing, right? With us back in the days, you either had one or the other, and you'd go to your friend's house and get to play those other games. My friends would come over, they'd get to play Mario Kart and stuff like that. So Casper is kind of a puzzle game, and it's very interesting. It's not the greatest game ever made, I will say that. A lot of these games aren't really that great, but there's an insanely high nostalgic sort of connection to them, and this is especially one. It's a game where, you play as Casper, and you are put into Whipstaff Manor, which is the mansion that the movie takes place in. And in this, it's a lot of puzzle elements. The main gameplay kind of thing in this is you're trying to get different keys to open doors to progress through the mansion. The ultimate goal is just like the movie where you're trying to collect pieces of the Lazarus Vector, which is the machine that can bring people back to life. That's like the ultimate goal, but the main bulk of the gameplay is trying to progress through the mansion. And here comes my cat, just on cue, and trying to collect different keys to get through the rooms. There's gold, green, purple keys. They all different, stuff like that. And there's a few boss battles here and there where you'll fight the uncles, as the ghosts and things like that. You'll normally get a piece of the Lazarus Vector or something like that. And in addition to that, you'll always kind of get a piece of a painting, and normally that will give you like a power up. So like there's like a hammerhead thing. Casper will kind of morph into these different like little forms for you to do different power ups and stuff. So there's a nice sense of progression in this game. It's very satisfying to find the key. The thing with this game though is it is very confusing, okay? Because there's no map. And I remember when we would play this game, me and my friend, we would draw our own maps. We even played it a couple years ago, and as adults, and it was still very confusing. We'd have to like draw our own map still. So that's one thing with this game. I like doing that. I like the games where there are no maps and I have to draw out my own. But if you don't like that, I could see why this could be frustrating for you. But at the same time, even with a map, it gets very confusing. It's like, okay, I got this key, now I have to go way back here. It's not really backtracking, sorry, in the sense that there is backtracking where you're going back and forth, but it's more like you're just opening new passages and things like that. You're like, oh, this opens this door. Oh, I think I'll go back here and see if it'll open some door. That's what a lot of the gameplay is. I kind of like that. But as I said, it can get very confusing because the map, the manor, is fairly complex for a game of, I think the game came out in 96 or something like that, right? So it probably came out a couple years after the movie. Fairly complex. It's a pretty good-sized map. It's got a lot of different rooms and paths to take. So you will definitely get confused, and that, like I said, that's something that I liked about it. Graphically, it's kind of top-down as far as I remember. It's kind of like 2.5D where I don't know how to describe it. Lots of like static background sorts of things. But the character of Casper is like a 2.5D sort of sprite kind of thing. So it's not totally 3D. It's more of a top-down, but that kind of reminds me more of like adventure games on the Super Nintendo, kind of like Link to the Past sort of thing. Not quite as, hand-drawn style, but that gives me that impression. And also it has pretty good music. Now, it is a little quirky. It's not the greatest game, like I said, and it can get very confusing. But I have this weird sense of nostalgia connected to it, where I really I like that game for some reason. And I will say, like, when you do finally figure out where this key goes or something like that, and you're checking off your list you've made or whatever, it is kind of satisfying to finally progress through the game. So I would suggest it if you're into that sort of game, puzzle kind of adventure games. You're probably going to enjoy it. I definitely would recommend it for people that like that stuff. If you're not into that, you're not going to like it. You're not going to like it. But there's so many games that, from past times that a lot of people don't know about that are a lot of fun to play and can sometimes be more fun than what we have to offer now for games. So that was my retro game suggestion for you on a Friday. So that's it. Just a couple things now for you folks that normally show up. Normally this is a cologne channel, but like I always say, I do different things. Yesterday I wore my favorite cologne, Burberry London. That is the holiday cologne. Gotta love it. And one thing I will say is, if you're still watching, I've been starting to try to stream on Twitch more. I used to stream. I kind of stopped. I really want to get back into it. I don't have a super set schedule right now. I'd like to do at least 2 streams a week. 3 would be great. Normally like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, things like that. My Twitch channel is East River G3. It's the same as YouTube, so you can check that out. I'll leave a link in the description if you'd like. I know it's some shameless self-promotion, but I know some of you guys like video games and stuff. What I hope to do, I've mentioned it on my channel, and I will every stream. My microphone broke, so I have a very bad setup right now. It's not great, but I just need to stream mostly for myself to get in the groove of things. But when I do get a new mic and things get really back into gear, mostly retro games, platformers, and fun things like that. I'm doing it because that's what I like. That's my favorite style of game. So that's what it's mostly going to be. Although right now I'm playing Dark Souls Remastered just because I like that game. But I'm going to do some stuff. I'd like to do Mario Party and stuff if you guys like that. Mario Kart, Super Mario Brothers, Donkey Kong, all that kind of stuff will be there. If you want to check that out, that'll be there. And you can check it out. Yeah. So I hope everybody's doing well and had a good Thanksgiving and everything. I hope that if you live in New York, you didn't have more than 10 people over at your house, or you're probably in county jail right now. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, peace out, everybody. Take care.